BlogTalk Radio. Hi, everybody. You're very welcome to the show. I was expecting Chrism to go on, but there is no response. Chrism. Okay, we're not hearing Chrism, or else I'm not online. I'm not too sure. Let me go check. No, everything looks as if I'm here, guys. Okay, 1 second now. I'm going to keep talking here. Can you hear me or Chrism? Okay, guys, I'm talking to you in the chat room. Can you hear me or are you listening to Chrism? Is he on air? So I'm asking the chat room. I could be talking here now to I can hear you, Santara. No, Chrism. I can hear you. No, Chrism. Okay. So that means, guys, that I am on air and Chrism is not on air. So how are we going to fix that now? Chrism might think that he's actually on air and he's not. Chat room as he normally does. Because as I'm looking here on the in the studio, I can see Chrism. Okay, maybe this is him. 1 second. Hi, caller 952.
Hi, this is Rosemary.
Hi, Rosemary. You can hear me okay, yeah? Rosemary?
Yes, now something's beeping. I don't know. That's not me, but
I can hear nothing beeping here. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Okay, so I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm looking at Chrism here on the switchboard, and I'm just hoping that he hasn't begun the program unaware that he's not been heard. So what we'll do is, could you actually go and phone him, Rosemary? Would that be possible for you? Oh, hold on. He's gone blue. Chrism? Okay, so what I'm going to do, Rosemary, is I've got you back on air again. Where are you going to phone Chrism? Can you try doing that?
I can do that. Let's see what number I have, if that's the one you're... 707.
Yeah, give that number a buzz and let's see if you can get through to him in case he's unaware. I'll go check the chat room again. So I tell you what, guys, in the meantime, I will just give the usual information that I do give. Rosemary, I'm going to put you in the blue, okay? So you can go ahead.
Yes.
So here we are. It's just me for the moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the information that I usually give at this time. So to begin with, I'll give you the place you can go to make a donation. There are actually two places. The first one is www.chrism-kundalini.blogspot.com. And there you will see a donate button, and it's quite an easy thing to donate from there. There is another place you can donate, and that's on the Safeties website. It's www.kundalinisafeties.com. And if you scroll down to the end of the page, you will see in writing, make a donation. And when you highlight that with your cursor, you're taken straight to the PayPal where you can donate. And as I say to you, small donations are very, very welcome. Sometimes people will say, my donation is really too small and it's not worth making. But lots of small donations add up and everything contributes. And everything is a service and an act of love towards, not just towards the work that Chrism is doing, but to all of us, because Chrism reaches out and touches so many Kundalini people that when we don't
Hello?
Hi, Rosemary.
Yes, I called and there was no answer. And then just now I could hear. I was thinking it was you. I just heard little noises, like stuff, but I didn't hear any voices.
It's very strange, guys, because the studio is just bopping people on and bopping people off. I've got you now in red, and I'm in red, but I keep going blue and I keep getting bopped off as well. So maybe we mightn't stay very long on this show if Chrism doesn't come on. So Rosemary, let us do a little bit of a chat with each other. Maybe you could begin by telling us a little bit about the seminar that's been held there in October, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you. Yes, it will be in October, the 28th and the 29th in Mankato, which is about an hour or a little more south of the cities. And we have been there before, and Joey and I go and do the expos. Katie lives there, actually, and she's there for when the expos that we're doing. And we're also including Rochester. We'll be doing some, actually, an expo there, too. And opening it to the people of that Mankato and Rochester area, joyful to be offering this amazing experience to people, an opportunity to learn more about the whole process. And my information, I can tell you more about that if you like, any particular questions you have. My phone number.
Sorry, Rosemary, go ahead.
Yes. My phone number is 651-329-9615, and my email address is rosemaryg@usinternet.com. Be delighted to share thoughts with you about the seminar. And it will be at the American Hotel and Suites. It's near the University of Minnesota there, and I'm downstairs and I don't see that particular information right here, but I can give it to you if you give me a call. It's in Mankato on...
Don't worry, Rosemary. Just give your phone number again, just for people to make sure they have it. 651-329-9615. And my other number is 952-303-6438. Okay. Well, the good news is that Chrism has gone off now, and I had to press continue the show. So my hope is that he's going to actively call in a few minutes.
Good.
So I'll keep an eye on the studio as I'm talking. So if any number comes up, I will bring them on. So I suppose just before we continue with the chat, Rosemary, I'll give the information on Berlin. Manisha is organizing a seminar in Berlin, and that's happening in September. And this will be the second seminar that Chrism will have given in Berlin. Last year's one was really successful, and there was a great crowd there, and it was a wonderful gathering of Kundalini people. Many people have already been activated, and some people had met Chrism before. Sometimes, for some people, it was the first time they had met Chrism and other Kundalini people. It was a wonderful experience, very beautiful, a very sacred space for the whole weekend. And we had a lovely venue. And Manisha tells me that's the vent. Oh, is that Chrism? It is. Hi,
I'm sorry to
Chrism.
interrupt you. You sounded like you were
No.
just rolling right along so nicely. Thank you. Oh, my word.
You weren't
Just
talking to the air, were you?
Oh, fully. I played the music.
No.
I played the music, everything. I do not know what happened to this stuff, and I'm just, wow, it's so frustrating sometimes.
Oh, you're here now. I'm
Oh,
sorry that happened.
me too. It's okay,
So
Chrism.
yay,
We got
Chrism is here. Chrism is here. We're
Go.
ready. Go, Chrism.
Oh my God. Okay, hello everybody. I better start out at least with this. This is necessary. Here we go. Well, hello everyone. This is Chrism, and I'm sorry you had to wait these 10, 12 minutes for me to come on. BlogTalk had a hiccup, and you even get the little sign. They go, "Oh, something's wrong. You're not connected," and then they want you to sign in all over again. And then my computer shut off. Just shut off. And so not only did I have to sign in all over again, but I also had to reboot the entire computer. So once again, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. And we just go with the flow. This seems to be one of the best options for a radio program, and even with its issues and problems, it is one of the better ones that I like. At least I'm used to the studio here, and so is a million. So we'll just have to keep going along with this one. And once again, my apologies. I'd like to say welcome to everybody. Hello, those of you there in the chat room, Emma, Cole, David, and everybody. I'd like to welcome people who are listening on their smartphones or on their computers or on their laptops, wherever they may be in this beautiful world. And I'd also like to say hello and welcome to the people listening in the archives. If you've been able to hang on this long, people in the archives, well, then I tip my hat to you. So here we go. Today, well, it looks like we have a question really early on, so I want to take care of this person's question here. Hello, caller. 95. Yes.
That's
Hello?
Rosemary. That happened while you were missing. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I'll go put up the names now.
Thank you. And I want to thank Santara for tap dancing so well. Wow. She's used to it by now. I think it's just like, wow, Chrism's like not on for some whatever reason. He's probably in the toilet or something. Forgot about the time. And she comes on and she very smoothly begins to have a conversation with everybody. I want to say, first of all, yeah, bravo. A bravo to Santara for that excellent cover. Let's jump right in. In today's Western technological world, the science can get a bit ahead of the health, a bit ahead of itself in regards to utilizing technology that may not be so healthy or helpful for the human system. So we're looking like, say, nuclear fission or radionics or some of the biological issues we have with they like to go out and create the big biological virus that can wipe out all humanity and makes them feel like, wow, we just unleashed this on the enemy and they'll be vanquished and we'll win. And, forgetting the fact that the virus would also come over here and kill everybody else here too. So it's something to note that even within the computer industry, we have technology that is not exactly beneficial to our bodies or the environment. And one of those things that we all have, that I'm even running off of right now, is Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi can have a fairly strong detrimental effect on people. For me, it mostly involves levels of headache. Okay. Now, when I was down there in Peru last year with Cole and Amelia and Rosemary and Joey, the shaman there, Alonso Del Rio, said, he just cannot have Wi-Fi in the area. If he's going to work on his computer, he has to go directly into the phone wire and work his computer from there. And in fact, I would do the same thing. He'd let me use his office, and I would go down there and do some of the computer work, but it would have to be a direct plug-in. And I'm going to suggest this for people. I know Wi-Fi is very convenient. I know it's very convenient, but I also understand that it has the ability to interact in a very unfortunate way with people that have the Kundalini. Now, it's either, these days when you're living in an apartment complex, you've got everybody's Wi-Fi coming through your wall. I mean, apartment complexes are the literal nexuses of Wi-Fi signal. And so even though you may not have any Wi-Fi in your apartment, everybody else around you will have the Wi-Fi coming into you, and you'll be actually, learning how to adjust to everybody else's Wi-Fi in your vicinity. There are different ways that you can work on that. One of them is a Faraday cage. That's spelled Faraday, Faraday protection. Now you can go on YouTube and you can go in the search engine there and go do-it-yourself Faraday cage. And what the Faraday cage does is that it blocks using metallic for blocks, but wooden for structures. You can just build this little structure around your bed, giving you enough space to stand up, enough space to be comfortable. But it also protects you from from being inundated with everybody's Wi-Fi within say a 50-yard radius. And typically, I think 50 yards is about the radius of a Wi-Fi signal at the lowest strength, to the highest strength. The closer you get to the machine there, the stronger it is, of course. So I would suggest Kundalini people that may be suffering from headaches that they have no known origin for, and that the Kundalini is getting the blame for. Well, if you're inside of multiple strong Wi-Fi signals, that alone can cause your headache. And then, if you find yourself doing a lot of computer work, say you do computer work for your living, this is your job, is what you do, and you're staring at a screen that's pushing out certain levels of radiation. There you go. That's going to go straight into your optics and straight into certain areas of the brain system. And so you want to maybe lower the brightness on that. Maybe begin to limit your time looking directly at the computer screen. Make sure that it's on a hard table. It's not on your lap. You got to protect yourself from science here, because science isn't really providing a protection. Science is more interested in the results of the intention of the machinery, rather than protecting you from the effects of the machinery. So something for us to look at when we're actively engaged by the Kundalini. And the Kundalini, for the most part, she can also protect you from this. But if she's allowing the headache to come through, like she is with me, well, then she's giving you a fairly clear signal to not proceed along this avenue any longer. She wants to see a change coming into you. And I'm a little nervous about this right now, because I don't know if I'm just talking to the air. So if somebody could write to me from the chat room, I would greatly appreciate it, just to see if I am indeed coming through, since the beginning was was so bungled. So yeah, I mean, thanks, Cole. Thanks, Emma. Yeah. Okay, so take a look at how much involvement you're having with a Wi-Fi signal, with radiation coming through the computer screen, with Bluetooth applications. I was in the process of purchasing, a really good set of headphones that I could use for this show and that I could use for other purposes with Skypes and whatnot. And I of course, I looked at the what are they called? Well, I looked at I probably shouldn't even say the manufacturer, but I looked at the high end, not the highest high end, but the high end technology that was present, and they have really good sound. Oh my gosh, the sound was wonderful. But when you turn the Bluetooth on, it's like putting an ice pick through your brain. At least that's how it felt to me. And so obviously that brand was not going to work with me. And I had to go through various different brands that were using, different kinds of wavelengths for their Bluetooth and that kind of interactivity. And I finally found a pair that worked for me, but definitely had to turn the one pair that had the great sound but the terrible Bluetooth. I had to turn that in and get the other pair. And I'm going to suggest that you take a look at that very, very carefully. Look at that very carefully. Make sure that you're not feeling any detrimental effects when you're using these Bluetooth headsets or that type of a situation. If you're doing a lot of Skyping or a lot of computer work, or if you're just listening to music a lot, you got to remember the Kundalini person is a different type of person. We are not the kind of person that can just, chug a case of beer and stick some headphones in, crank it up really loud, and just have a good time. Maybe some of us are. I will suggest, not most of us may not be that way. Rosemary may be the exception to that, the Mother Superior. Anyway, so I think that, and I will let her come on in a second here and respond to that. Very important that you look at maintaining the health of your body. Remember, the more natural you allow yourself to be, the better the Kundalini in you will flourish. And so the longer you allow your hair to grow, the more the better quality of air you can breathe. You're not standing out in the middle of a downtown Los Angeles, deep breathing, smog-filled air. The more you can go barefoot on bare soil, the more that you can be completely natural in, say, a very private setting like a forest setting or some sort of a setting where there is nobody there to view you. The more natural you can give your environment, the more natural qualities you can bring yourself to enjoy within your life, and certainly with your Kundalini, the much better it's going to be for you. It's going to be much, much, much better. And so really look at this. Really look at this. Look at it from the respect of this is the greatest gift that God and Goddess can give to you. This is approaching the pinnacle of the physical incarnation. This is very, very extremely important, very sacred and beautiful and amazing, and it's serving as a beacon of light for the people to come to these areas. It's serving as an invitation for you to become semi-divine. This is huge. This is like the Greek gods and goddesses like Hercules. You're being given the opportunity to become a Hercules or an Aphrodite. It's a big, big, big deal. I wish I had the words to convey what a big deal this is. And but it doesn't come without certain levels of sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice some of the things that are really, really easy. And one of those sacrifices, I think, may have to be, for some of you, the Wi-Fi connection. If you can, they keep changing the Wi-Fi connection too. They got 3G and 4G. we're probably up to 9G by now, and and God knows what it's doing to the neurons in your brain. Seriously, I'm not kidding about this. You need to look at this. You need to maybe do a little research on your computer. As you need to look at it. And for those of you that are using a cell phone most of the time, that's even worse. Especially if you're talking on it with it pressed up against your head. I know some Swedish researchers the past few years did some research, and they saw actual tumors growing exactly where the people are putting the phone. So you need to look at that. You need to consider this. And if your Kundalini is kind of sending some warning bells off to you like she does with me, well, then you have to take note of that, and you have to really begin to take remedial steps in order to begin to interrupt the level of damage that may be happening to your brain, to your system. Very, very important. Now, if you have any questions about that, I'm going to I want to invite you to call in, and the call-in number is 347-934-0026. That's 347-934-0026. And call in and let's get a conversation started about this. It's very important. A lot of the time, I have a cell phone too. I have one of those iPhones, and sometimes you can't even pick it up. The energy conduits that extend to your fingertips, those little chakras in the ends of each fingertip, won't allow you to pick up the cell phone. You'll get a shock. You'll get a shock that'll send a signal all the way up your arm into your shoulder. You will not be able to hold it. What is that telling you? What is that saying to you? And what is your Kundalini talking to you about with it when your energetics are so sensitive that you can't even hold the cell phone? You can't scroll up, you can't scroll down. Holding it is causing you pain. Well, it's telling you that maybe another level of communication and entertainment device may be useful for you, but maybe something that it may be that you just need to be a lot more natural in other areas of your life, and to really develop the natural qualities there in your fingertips and in the toe tips and in the balls of your feet. You need to start looking at this, people, because the Wi-Fi signals are getting stronger and stronger and more pervasive, especially in these city centers. You have an office building, and they'll have these extremely powerful Wi-Fi signal emitters, and that have a greater distance than, say, your residential emitter. And I know there's another word for that. Maybe Cole, you can provide me with the other word. Let's see. Vicky Vaughn says, I used to get headaches from cell phone. Does Kay take it away from you? That basically happened to me for now. It can take it away from you, Vicky, but I think she's also giving you a modem. No, it'd be a modem, Cole. Thank you. I think that she's warning you not to do that. Use the hands-free signal, or use some other device that does not procure a headache for you, Vicky. Very important. Now, okay, the Kundalini can heal the damage that's been done from this point. She can heal that. If there's a tumor growing, well, she can reverse the tumor. But you want to start really paying attention to the level of dis-ease that you're putting yourself in by using these types of devices. Yes, they're wonderful. It's great to be able to, in the middle of the desert, to whip out that cell phone and say, yeah, my car broke down. I'm in the middle of the Mojave Desert. There's 3 rattlesnakes, looking at me like they could parcel me up. And gosh, can you send somebody out? Can you send AAA out here? And that's very handy to have. And yeah, I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just suggesting that you don't do it so much. I think there is a certain level of too much to this. And Alana Seeger, she asked me, she says, do you avoid using a microwave oven? I say, yes, I do. You can count the times on your fingers, the times during the year that I've used a microwave oven. Doesn't mean I never, ever don't use it, but, it's not very often. And Cole says, Chrism, how does your Kundalini feel about the introduction of virtual reality technologies into society? Well, I think I think that it has the reality of really programming individuals. Because even though they're virtual reality, they're playing a game and they're doing whatever they like to do, flying, typically right now it's a form of entertainment, I think. At least for the general public. For more military adaptations, it's probably less of a game. But it has the ability to program people in ways that they're unaware. It's very similar when you're watching television. You're watching a program, and your mind goes into the alpha state brainwave pattern, which is a very receptive pattern. It's a very it's a pattern that's easily programmed, and you're watching the television program, and I was able to watch TV yesterday for the first time this year. I was watching TV and watching all the different things, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that later on. But your mind goes into a very receptive state and a very programmable state, and with virtual reality that would be even more enhanced. It's very easy to put a level of code, the code that is involved in the computer industry, computer code, into a program that would not be noticeable to the person engaging their mind and their visual apparatus and their psychomotor control into a virtual reality scenario. And so, Cole, to answer your question, my Kundalini says proceed if you must with caution. If you don't need to do it, don't. Once again, we're going in a very opposite direction than many of the highly technologically oriented people in our society. We're going into a more natural scenario. We're taking care of our bodies. We're eating organic food. We're not using pesticides or herbicides or fungicides or any of these death-causing types of chemicals or treatments. We're preserving nature. We're practicing the ahimsa, which is do not harm, do not kill. I mean, we're doing a lot of these types of areas which is diametrically opposed in many ways to the technological oriented individuals in our society. So we're kind of pulling away from that and exploring the absolutely amazing, beautiful, mystical qualities that the Kundalini brings to an individual. It's amazing. It's just far beyond virtual reality. Virtual reality compared to, say, like an interactive Kundalini vision would be comparable, say, to it's just way more to, I don't know, a beginning clarinetist and all the squeaks and shrills to celestial music. I mean, it's just there's such a huge gap between the two. And yet you can engage in that type of activity with the Kundalini. Now, most of us listening here, and even myself included, you don't partake of the amazing qualities of Kundalini enough. You don't pay enough attention into these areas. And so you don't really get to experience some of these things that you could experience if you really wanted to engage your Kundalini in a much more full way. And I'm going to suggest that you do that. You get into your meditation. You do the astral projection. Now, don't let fear of spirits or fear of entities or fear of the unknown get in your way. I mean, it's the same thing with virtual reality. It's an unknown, but because other people are doing it, well, that takes some of the fear away. Well, other people are enjoying and are working with their Kundalini in such a way that it's extremely enlightening and wisdom producing and even entertaining. You can do this as well. You don't need to hook yourself into a computer or jack yourself into a computer in order to experience amazingly altered states of interaction and coming back safely inside the body because you never really disconnected from it. That silver cord does actually exist. I felt it. So let's look at this a little bit. Let's just go a little bit. Let's pull back a little bit from this technological addiction that so many in our society have. Vicki Vaughn asks, she says, now I use a friend's phone and it is limited. Well, Vicki, I think that's a great idea. I think that's really good. And what a friend to have. But, and also if Vicki, if you're traveling, across, say, long areas where if your car broke down, well, you could really use a phone. Well, then I'd suggest that you have some sort of an emergency phone setup that you have there in the car. Maybe just one of those throwaway cell phones, that you pay a certain amount of money and you can use that way and put it in the glove box. I've done that before, and it's quite it can be very useful that way. You can get that tow truck in the middle of the Mojave if you need it. And so yeah, everybody, take a look at this. How engaged are you in technology? Are you using your iPhone or your other kind of phone to control the temperature in your house, or the lighting in your house, or programming the herbal tea to be brewed in the morning when you get up? I mean, how dialed in are you to the high tech? How dialed in? And Vicki Vaughn says, well, I'm thinking of getting one to use for that now. She says, it's been 3 years. So there you go, Vicki. Yeah, just for emergencies, really. I mean, and if you're going to use it to communicate with friends or family, definitely, here in the States at least, in the United States, it's illegal now to talk straight into your telephone while you're driving. But it's not illegal to use a headset. So use the headset if you're out there driving and you have to get directions or talk to friends or family, and be very careful that you can pay attention to the road ahead of you. I know a lot of people here in the States die because their attention is being split. Part of it is on their entertainment, or part of it is for texting, and the other part is for driving, and typically that's what kills them. There's a little bumper sticker out there now that says "Texting kills," and boy, it does kill if you're trying to text and drive. Seriously. So look at the level of addiction that you have to Western technological advancement. Look at how you're allowing it to influence your life. Now, I do a lot of work on the computer. You guys know I do a lot of work on the computer. And ever since she started giving me this signal, I've been backing off on it big time. I turn the Wi-Fi off at night. There is no signal coming from this house into the plants, the animals, and the people at night with Wi-Fi. And if I need to get on the computer, well, then fine. I'll turn that Wi-Fi on and I'll get up and do the work that I need to do. But I tend to be very, very discreet now with the Wi-Fi. And as soon as I can arrange it, I'm going to make it so that I can just connect the phone, just like Alonzo Del Rio does. I'm just going to connect the phone directly to the phone line, unless other people in the house need to use a computer. Well, then, of course, the Wi-Fi goes on. But if nobody else in the house needs to use a computer, say it's late at night or early in the morning, then I'll just go straight in to the computer and just, bypass the whole Wi-Fi scenario. And Vicki Vaughn writes, she says, I am seeing a feeling to leave Facebook and now try to limit. It's like I see it so differently now. Mindless addiction, LOL. Yeah, I don't see the need for me, and I understand that for you this may be the case, but for myself, I don't see I use Facebook and Yahoo and all these different networks for a completely different reason. I don't do it so much for social networking. I do it strictly to reach into the masses and to provide as much Kunalini service as I can. And that includes the Skypes and the different interactive opportunities that Facebook offers. So if it were me and it was just for social media, and I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I'd probably not be on it, or be very limited with it. But I use it to try to help people, and so that makes me very, very involved with it. And matter of fact, Santara, she gets the questions that we ask on this program straight from the largest group in the Kundalini Awakening suite of groups. From Kundalini Awakening ! And this is, including her page, Kundalini Matters as well, and her private server or her private email. So we do use it, but I don't know what it would be like to use Facebook or any of these other things as a way to meet people. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I guess you could. I walk around Santa Rosa here, and nobody knows me, and I know very few people here, and I'm okay with that. I kind of, the anonymity is kind of nice. And I've got this big old beard, and nobody can really see your face, except for your eyes and your nose. And it's just, I don't know, maybe I just don't have that kind of desire. Cole says, it's more you meet someone and have a way to contact them later. Oh, okay, well, yeah. So if the Kundalini hadn't given me a compelling to reach into the masses and do as much as I can to help other people having Kundalini, I certainly would not be as involved with these electronic devices as I currently am. Would not be happening. I'd be meditating somewhere, or I'd be serving, society in some format. I would not be, doing what I'm doing in this way at all. So everybody, have a look at how interactive you are with these high technological machines, and most importantly, wavelengths. Let's look at and if your job requires, and if you're in an apartment complex or a place that has, tremendous quantity of overlapping Wi-Fi signal and radiation signals, look into a Faraday cage. Basically, it's like you can get a wood structure, you build a wood structure that you can stand in around your bed. And then one of the easiest ways is just to stretch 3 millimeter aluminum tin foil and fill up every space in that frame with that aluminum tin foil. Make sure you overlap until you're completely encased inside an aluminum foil structure over your bed. Give yourself enough headroom in there, and maybe standing room, and make sure you put out a door, a little door that you, 2 hinges is all that takes, and protect yourself, protect your brain, protect your mind, protect yourself, protect your body. It's very, very important to do this, and yes, it may take a little bit of extra effort, but it'll be well worth the effort. I don't see people backing away from high technological devices. I don't see that. I see people getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and as Cole suggests, with the virtual reality scenario, that's just going deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and to some folks, they can enjoy that virtual reality so much that, they lay in this coffin-like device and they're jacked in, and their reality becomes the computer reality, and the computer reality becomes their dominant reality. And there's a movie that was made about this, and people are always beautiful because the program allows them to be always beautiful, and they're always young, they're always strong, they're always at the peak of human egotistic self-worth. They're always there. They're always gorgeous, and but back in their little coffin-like thing, they're old and wise, grizzled up, and they're not exercising a lot because they spend most of their time of their life jacked in. Well, this is the kind of society that we're turning into if we continue along the track. Now, war and the preoccupation with war will change our time for these types of communications. The disarray in Washington, D.C. at the moment, and the reformation of relationships that the United States has with Europe and with China, with Russia, and many other countries. That will also change the level of interactivity that we can have. Europe, they can have their own internet that doesn't interact with ours. And same with China, same with Russia. So, there's that as well. Look into how you can become more natural with your life. Put the cell phone down. Put the laptop down. Walk away from the computer tower. Be natural in nature. Walk with your shoes off. Here in the northern hemisphere, it's a spring and summer now. So, if you're able to, get those shoes off, get those socks off, and walk connected to the earth. You'll feel stronger. You'll feel happier. I had one of my students do that today. I said, walk down to the lawn over there and take your shoes off and just kind of stand there and let the energy of the sacred feminine reach up through your feet, through your legs, into your torso, from the earth, and just feel it and feel the curative effect that it has on you. Cole writes, he says, it's a delayed payout kind of programming. He's speaking of, I think, the virtual reality. People check when their phone vibrates, and sometimes it's a payout, sometimes it's a false alarm, useless notification, like a slot machine. And he says, I think he's guilty of this sometimes. Well, I think a lot of people are. And it's quite all right. I'm certainly not making a judgment call on people that are using, the many devices, because, I'm doing it right now. I'm talking into a laptop. I'm alone in a room talking into an electrically motivated device. I can only imagine what the dogs, when they're watching me, they're like, oh, there he's talking into that thing again. So look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it and see how you can either limit it or at least bring yourself into a greater level of personal protection with regards to the Faraday cage. People that have had a strong level of Wi-Fi interaction have basically made the statement that their dreams become much clearer after they have protected themselves against itinerant Wi-Fi contamination. They're able to remember their dreams. They're able, in many cases, to become lucid dreamers. I'm certainly not going to say that's a guarantee or anything, but there can be a very positive result in limiting the level of Wi-Fi wavelength, electromagnetic wavelength that is being pushed through your flesh and your bone and your system. It can be very helpful to start looking at this in a way that allows you to make the choice to protect yourself. And I'm going to ask Santara if she has anything to add. Santara, you have anything to add to this?
Well, it's interesting, Chrism, because I got a new headphone. I told you that just at the beginning before the program started. I was given a gift. I've had to take them off because they are of such quality that my ears are burning, and I'm back into my old ones again that are attached into the phone.
What's the brand name of the new ones? Aki. But they're good ones, Chrism, and they're Bluetooth, and I've never had it Bluetooth before. Yeah. I had the ones I initially tried were the Bose headphones, BOAZ or BOZE.
Right.
They were so, I mean, God, they really sound great. But boy, when I turned that Bluetooth on, I had a headache inside of 2 minutes, and it was a nasty headache. It did not work for me. Then I take them off, turn them off, headache goes away, put it back on, turn it on, headache comes back. So it was fairly clear for me, what the culprit was.
Apartment living is interesting too, because that is something, I've only relatively recently began that. There's quite a few apartments around us that are empty, but there is a difference between living here and living in my house. And I have stopped all devices out of my bedroom now. I haven't turned off the Wi-Fi, though. That's a good one, Chrism. I hadn't thought of doing that, but I don't allow my son bring his device into his bedroom at night either, which is not going down well, I can tell you. But because I can feel it more in the apartment than I used to at home. Not headaches, interestingly enough, but just a kind of a heat. And I know that it's from the phone, I get it, and from the computer, I get a kind of a heat around my face. And I know that it's the Wi-Fi. It's like a vibration. Right. It's hard to explain.
Right. But also, when you're looking at your iPad or your laptop or anything like that, for me, I get more of a headache from looking at the screens. For me, and so I have to really turn the screen luminosity down or things of that nature. But she's communicating to me what she wants me to do and what she wants me not to do. And so, I really feel myself being compelled to go in a very natural way, to walk that trail barefoot or to go on the beach, barefoot, and to really meditate somewhere that is not so technologically heavy in the type of electromagnetic wavelengths that come into it. I mean, besides the internet and these Wi-Fi signals and the cell phone towers, you've got shortwave, you've got long wave, you've got radio waves, you've got all these different communications. Then you have the high military. They don't care who they hurt with their stuff as long as their stuff comes through clean. So, I mean, there's a lot of distortion and distraction and injury that a person can procure just by living here in the high tech West.
Absolutely.
My Kundalini is suggesting it, and it was known that I was going to speak about this before I even did. This is very important. Now, I'm in the process of getting together the materials for a Faraday cage. I'm going to walk this talk. It's not a hard thing to do, but it is something that will probably take about 3 hours to put together, if that. If you're Cole Kundalini here, he could probably do it in an hour. Because he knows how to do this. But probably David too. Probably David could do it as well. Does Rosemary have a question?
Well, she did earlier. We were speaking to each other, and she was giving the information then, Chrism, about her. Do you want to check in case she's another one?
I'm sorry? What?
Do you want to check in case she has a another question?
Now. I'll do it right now. Hi, Rosemary.
Hello. No, I didn't have any question. I was checking on to see if you were there or not. But I'm listening very intensely. I was having a heck of a time
getting there. Did you want to comment on the beer comment I made about the Mother Superior?
The Mother Superior? No, I don't.
Do you have any announcements you'd like to make?
I did, but I'll say them again. We are here in Minnesota working for the seminar in October 28th and 29th in Mankato, and it is at the American Hotel and Conference Center right on the near the University of Minnesota there in Mankato. My information to talk about, answer any of your questions you might have, is rosemaryg@usinternet.com, and my phone number is 329-9615, and I welcome your questions just to see what would be possible for you in coming to the seminar. So thank you.
Thank you, my dear Rosemary. Thank you for doing all the hard work. You and Joey and Katie.
And yeah.
Katie Paulson Galarno as well. So thank you, all three of you. What an amazing trinity.
Yes.
Okay, I'm putting you into the blue here, and Rosemary or Centaur, do you have any announcements since we're doing those?
Okay, well, I've already done the announcement on the donations. So I just remind people again about the seminar that's been held in September. You can, if you want to come, it's in Europe and it's in Berlin. And Manisha is the lady that's organizing it. So you can head over to Facebook, and her name is Manisha Manish. Or you can go to Kundalini Seminars and Events with Chrism. That's a page on Facebook, and you'll get the information there. You'll get her phone number, or you'll get her email address. And it's happening September 15, 16, and 17. So you're all very welcome, and contact Manisha for more information.
There we go. Thank you, Centaur. Okay, so I'm about done with that aspect. Did you have some questions that you've collected?
I do, Chrism, yes. I'm going there now. Okay, so the question came in, do aliens exist? Yesterday I had a dream in which aliens attacked Earthlings. They had cubicle airships. However, we destroyed them with missiles. Does this have any meaning? And this person would be a Kundalini man.
I was reading what Cole was saying just now. He's saying just wear chainmail to keep the Wi-Fi off. Dress up like a chivalrous knight. Well, okay, yeah, you can do that too. Wear the helmet the whole bit. That's pretty good. Thank you,
yeah.
And heck, instead of driving the car, we can just ride the horse.
Horsepower.
Aliens do exist. They've been continuously attacking human beings for, thousands of years. They've been abducting them and experimenting on them and eating them, for food. But some are also very helpful. Some are also very congenial, and some are, here to use us as batteries, or as try to harvest the Kundalini by putting the person into extreme levels of fear, like the Montauk Project, things of that nature. Using, well, I'm not going to go into their techniques, but they're fairly awful. Aliens are real, and they're out there, and because they have that technological edge on us, they just don't really care. When we see their ship or vehicle or themselves. But for the most part, they enjoy being secretive. They don't want the entire population so riled up that it removes their accessibility to us. And so it's important for them to stay in a semi-secretive state. But yeah, they're real, and yeah, they do exist. And some are good, but I would have to say most of them are not. It's a 1/3 is good, 2/3 are not. That is kind of the measurement that I'm getting on it.
And Chrism, in terms of this guy, this man, gentleman, having the dream, about the aliens attacking and the kind of airships and them being destroyed by missiles, would that have any meaning in a Kundalini context, do you think?
Yeah, that we're not such. We do not need to see ourselves as victims. We have the explosive power to even that playing field, and it just takes a level of expansion beyond the current modality of being limited by being laughed at. So, if somebody says, "Oh yeah, they're aliens," well then everybody kind of goes, "Oh yeah," and they start singing the song do 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 do, and they start ridiculing the person. And if people can get away from being intimidated through ridicule, that will open the mind to the various possibilities that the aliens are actually using. One of the things that has happened in my experience teaching Kundalini is a reptilian entity will try to enter into and control the body of a human being. And, this was happening right in front of my face, and my Kundalini would not allow me to fix it. I was distressed for a while over that because this was having a very, very deleterious, effect on that person's family and kids, and it was an awful experience to see that happening right in front of you, where they become literally taken over by an alien presence. And I don't mean alien just like, say, a possession from an entity, but it was a possession from a reptilian ET. And I think that was shown to me in a very purposeful way to encourage me to go beyond where I currently was at the time, so that I would have the wisdom to make the appropriate choice if I was ever confronted with that again. So it was a big teaching for me, yeah. And Atlantis Seeker is asking, are some discarnate entities that cave people encounter aliens? Yes, indeed, Atlantis Seeker. Absolutely, you're right on target with that. Yes. Go ahead, Amelia.
So, Chrism, when you say there, to get away from intimidation by ridicule, do you mean to get away from the fear that you would have of intimidation by ridicule?
I can phrase it a different way. Don't be embarrassed because other people make ridiculous statements about your beliefs, or if you have to say it inside of a room of people that don't have that broadness of mind, well then know that you're saying it to a group of people that are going to probably find a way to ridicule you. And as they ridicule you, you just forgive them. You got to forgive them.
Yes.
Don't let yourself be embarrassed. Be willing and able to hold your ground. And they're going to come at you and they say, well, what is it? Do you have scientific proof? Spaceman? You have scientific proof that those aliens exist, spacey boy? Yeah.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
That's real. Yeah, thank you. Do not be embarrassed. Yeah, thank you, Chrism.
Hold your ground.
Yeah. Hold your ground.
Looks like we have a caller. I believe that is Toronto. I'm not sure though. Down there at the bottom, if you could look into that.
Do you want me to check it? Will I ask you a question while?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and ask your question. Yes.
Okay, so the next question, and I wanted to hear the answer to this one. I'll come back to it. I'm going to take the question from the group, and it says, my left eye turned blood red completely for a few hours, and there was no pain, no itching, nothing went into my eyes. I was just taking a rest. When I woke up, my eyes were completely red. Is this because of Kundalini? I'm afraid, but I'm not reacting. Please help.
Well, obviously, she's obviously reacting, because when I looked at her eyes, it wasn't anywhere near blood red. they were maybe bloodshot a little bit. I mean, over her sclera, it was just slightly pink. I mean, it was not a big deal. And it wasn't pink eye. What we know is that conjunctivitis. It wasn't that either. The fact that the left eye was being affected by an increased circulatory flow is definitely an activity of the sacred feminine, the Shakti, coming up the left side and increasing the flow of blood to the sclera of the left eye, and then proceeding to go over the top of the head and down the right side, and as doing so, increasing the blood flow to the sclera of the right eye as well. People, you don't want to jump to a negative conclusion because the Kundalini gives you a symptom that is not something that you understand, that is not something that you know about. Even though that is the case, you've got to understand that you have Kundalini and she's going to be doing things like this. Rest assured that she has you and she's taking care of you, even though your eyes may turn a little pink at times. The very next day, her eyes are fine again. So it's very important, I think, for you to understand that the Kundalini will come along, and especially when she comes up the left side, the horseshoe activation. She comes up the left side, she comes up and over the top of the head, down the right side, and completes a circuit with the earth. That you can expect some levels of phenomena from that interaction. She's going to do it. She's going to give you, Chrism. She'll give you some sort of phenomena that is somewhat challenging to your status quo. And you've got to be okay with it. You don't need to go into fear. You need to go into amazing levels of trust. Just trust the Kundalini. Don't trust me. Don't trust Rosemary, even though she's mother. Don't trust anybody. Just trust your Kundalini. If your Kundalini says to trust me and to trust Rosemary, well, that's fine. Then trust me, trust Rosemary, trust Santara. But you've got to stop being a victim. You don't get to be a victim any longer. I hear you, Santara.
I was going to say that, Chrism, if your Kundalini gives for you to trust the teacher, well, then you trust the teacher. But you've got a lady here called Kala, and she's got a Kundalini question for you, Chrism. Will I bring her on?
Oh, bring her on.
Hello?
Hi, Kala.
Hi, Kala.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Chrism?
I'm fine, thank you. Please, ask your question.
Okay, so I haven't been able to meditate for a long time. Anyways, today I did, and my foot disappeared. Like, it was gone, and it didn't look like bloody gone. It just looked like it was healed and not there.
Just gone. Just gone, right?
Just gone. Yeah.
So where you once had a foot, you no longer had a foot.
Yeah, and it creeped me out, kind of.
Oh, totally. No, that's a very, very, very significant sign of Kundalini, and that is something that would really creep you out. All you need to do is put your tongue tip behind your upper front teeth, and that won't happen anymore.
Okay.
So the next time you meditate, I would suggest that you meditate. You put that tongue tip behind your upper front teeth, and all your body parts will stay in phase. They will not disappear.
Okay. Yeah, because I was really floaty, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I was just really...
I imagine did you shake your legs and then see it come back into existence?
Yeah, I just kind of moved around, and then I was like, okay, there it is. So it didn't go out very long. I was lucky, I guess.
No. It was never going. I mean, it just shows you that you know within the Kundalini you have the ability to go out of phase. You can become invisible.
Okay.
It's a gift.
Yeah, I was
surprised.
I was so surprised. I was so surprised.
Kala, it's a gift. it can be expanded into a siddhic function, an exalted skill of the Kundalini. So
well, maybe I should practice learning how to do that then.
it's actually better to just keep your tongue tip behind the upper front teeth.
Okay.
Do that.
All right. Thank you, Chrism.
Especially, you're very welcome, my dear. Very welcome. Okay.
Okay.
And Vicki Vaughn writes, she says, I had this weird dream, and you were in it, and I awoke, and I thought that was strange. Then I came across a video of yours on courting, Cording, and how you can cord with a K teacher. This took place after I was given a mantra. Now I got pain in the neck and tailbone. Well, the pain in the neck and tailbone, Vicki, is a Kundalini indication, especially in the tailbone. It should be getting kind of hot. It should be getting fairly sore. And do what I would do if I were you is I would do what is called a Tritaka meditation. I would get a picture of the person that gave you the mantra, and I would look into that picture, and I would say the mantra to that picture with your fingers, your forefinger and your thumb tip locked together, the other finger spread out. If you can do it on your knees and slightly rock forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, or sit in easy pose and rock forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, that will help. But the pain is a good thing, my dear. It is a good thing. The pain in the neck, well, everybody, has a little device there, a biological, natural device, God-given, that modulates the amount of flow of specific levels of energy into the sacred crown chakra. And so you may be building up a bit of energy up there at the neck. And of course, that's going to cause the neck to feel a bit sore. But so far, what you've told me, Vicki, is you're doing great. You're right on your way. This is exactly what you should be experiencing. Do not have a concern. This is a good thing. Do that Tritaka meditation if you can. And look right in the eyes. Keep those fingers locked. And say the mantra, preferably out loud. I would like you to disturb the air molecules. Okay? And you're going to feel, possibly you're going to feel that tailbone sensation increase even more and more and more. And this is a good thing. This is what you want to have happen. Make sure, Vicki Vaughn, that you're in a strong practice of the safety protocols. Do it twice, if not 3 times a day, all of them, including the Tibetan. Make sure you're doing your forgivenesses and your gratitudes. Make sure you're doing those things. And if you can, selflessly help other people, like go to an old folks' home or help the homeless or do anything that you can do that helps someone who is a stranger to you, then do that. That is extremely important as well. This is what takes the grace and the love of the divine from your system and places it in a helpful context into the system of another person. This is extremely enjoyed by the divine within you, as it allows a greater amplitude of the divine expression to come through your system. So selflessly serve other people as best that you can and as often as you can. And congratulations, Vicki Vaughn. Next question, Santara.
The next question, Chrism, is please ask Chrism, is there a connection between Kundalini and salvation?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Kundalini is salvation. Kundalini is part and parcel of salvation. Salvation meaning that you have come to a point where your actions and your mindset and your karma have all come to a place where you're ready to explode into a divine expression. And to me, salvation is the entrance point of a divine expression. But I'll look it up on the web just to see if I'm anywhere close. with that. Sometimes I am, sometimes I ain't. Here we go. What is salvation? It's power over sin and death. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Here's the dictionary. Is the act of saving or protecting from harm, risk, loss, destruction. The state of being saved. Exactly. And yeah, Kundalini is that thing. It is that power that opens you up into total redemption of your karma, of your lifetimes. It opens you into the flower of grace, and it actually changes you into that flower of grace. This is the Kundalini transformation that we talk about so much. You could also call it Kundalini salvation if you wanted. It would apply. Over. Now, before you continue on, Vicky responds, okay, she says, I still deal with some addictions to cigarettes and caffeine. Well, Vicky, let those go. Let those addictions go. You don't need them. You don't need them. And you ask the Kundalini, which is coming up now strongly. Now's the time to ask the Kundalini to help you do that. Say, my Kundalini within me, please help me to discontinue cigarettes and caffeine. And do it every time you meditate. Let that be the first thing that you say. As you look into your teacher's eye, ask your teacher as well, because it's the teacher's Kundalini that you're communicating with. And that is actually giving you Shaktipat through that Tritaka practice. Over. Go ahead, Santara.
Thanks, Chrism. Is having a Kundalini awakening a sign that returning to our bodies over and over is coming to an end?
Yes, absolutely. Is anybody hearing a clicking sound at all? Am I click-free? Emma or Michelle or Tejashri or Vicky or Cole or David, let me know if this is a click-free program. I'm trying to make
here. No.
It's click-free. It's like Emma Travis, no clicking here. And Vicky says something about anxiety. I'm not quite sure about that. Okay,
connected to the cigarettes and caffeine, probably.
Maybe that's why she did. Yeah, okay. All good was a bit choppy for a bit, but all good now. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. All right, so we're sort of click-free. I'm happy to hear that. All right, continue, Santara. Katie.
Okay, so...
Thank you, Katie. Go ahead.
So the next these questions now are from the groups again, Chrism. There was a question about marijuana, and the person said that a shaman had said that marijuana is the black queen from the dark side. One time taken, you are united, and she works in the energy system like a glue. Could you comment on that, Chrism?
Like black glue. Say it right. Come on. Give her the drama.
She works in the energy system like glue. Or black queen.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, that's way off.
Okay.
First of all, nothing about marijuana is black. It's a really dark color of green. Second of all, if used wisely and not repeatedly, if used wisely and not repeatedly, like say maybe once or twice a year, it can be very helpful within the Kundalini process. It can open, if a person is really, really, really blocked, it can work some levels of unblocking and allow levels of bliss to pour through the body and to cleanse that body. This is silly. I understand that it's an addictive drug, and it is indeed. I don't care what science says. It's about as addictive as you're going to get. But it is also has a quality that can be helpful to the person. Just don't use it all the time. Once or twice a year, max. That's I can see people going, what do you mean once or twice a year?
Okay, so you would have said in previous times, how that it can destroy the crown chakra or it can damage it, but you're talking there about repetitive, constant use.
The caveat there that you're not mentioning, Amelia, is with repeated, prolonged use.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, good.
That's what you're speaking of. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to use it all the time. You don't want to wake and bake, as they say. It's not something that you use like a glass of wine. That's the big justification. Well, I just use it like a glass of wine. Like wine is so great. In Ireland, that would be a pint.
Use
it like a pint.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to use it that way. And sure, if you've got a cancer issue and you need to increase your appetite, it has the ability to do that. There's also a whole sect of Hindu people in India that use it as a sacrament. And I know the Rastafarians like to say, Yaman, we use the ganja as a sacrament, But no, for Kundalini people,
no.
You want to protect your seventh chakra against the desires of the ego, and overusing pot would be a desire of the ego.
Thank you, Chrism. The next question is, what does it mean when I keep using the same mudra over and over during my kriyas? It's the Namaste Namaskar mudra. I raise my hands above my head in this mudra and sway side to side. I look forward to your reply.
It's a form of devotion to the Kundalini, and she's made that a part of your process because she wants you to keep on doing it. It is a devotional aspect. It is in recognition of her presence within the individual. And the side to side and the hands above, that is very, very devotional and very healthy for the individual to do that. So I'll suggest that you continue doing that, and don't try to figure it out. Put your ego inquisitiveness at rest and just give yourself to the Kundalini. Over.
Thank you. I don't know how far my Kundalini has advanced, so can I ask questions to others? I'm burning up in my legs, then my feet, stomach, left shoulder and back of neck. Full on sweating. It is cooler weather now. My head is dizzy with headaches and I have weird dreams. So she's asking other people for details about their awakening, but that's what's happening her. She mentioned later that somebody mentioned it could be menopause, but she feels it is not that.
Well, it could be menopause, but I don't think this person has menopause going through. This person has a very scientific mind, and Kundalini, because it goes beyond the conceptual comfort zone of science, to a person with a scientific mind is going to be very, very disturbing, and very much out of the box, out in left field. This person will have a very difficult time conceptualizing that this is a force that, first of all, has a consciousness, second of all, has an agenda for you, and that agenda is transformation. This person comes from a very specific scientific modality as a pharmacist. And, the pharmacist, it's a very exacting type of career where, you have the exact count of pills and you know what the interactions are between the two separate sets of medicinals. It's very, very much an exact science, because if you're off by a little bit, well, people can die. And so this person is, she's feeling all of these different Kundalini phenomena, and she wants to know how far along she is. Well, I'll tell her right now, ma'am, you are in the stage of the activation stage. You need to be keeping the tongue tip to the upper front teeth. You need to be staying hydrated. You need to be taking in watermelon or coconut water if you can. Make sure you don't get coconut water where you can't see what's inside the carton. Make sure that you're able to see the coconut water rather than just trust what they're putting into the carton. Several people have had some disastrous surprises. You're in the activation stage, so it's very important for you right now to trust what is happening to you. Do not go into fear. Do not go into thinking that you're ill or that you're sick or that, don't feel that you're going into a spiritual emergency, which is the catchphrase that science likes to use for people having a Kundalini experience. They make it emergency. It's not an emergency. It's a gift. It's a grace. It's a happiness. It's a joyfulness. But because you're not surrounded by people that are supportive of this, your husband's not supportive and your kids aren't supportive, your mother isn't supportive, so other members of the family aren't supported, you're not supported by them in having this. Instead, you're ridiculed and you're told, well, you need to find another job and, we got to pay the bills and, so all this pressure is being heaped upon you. I want you to take some time out of your day and just allow the Kundalini to give her wisdom to you. And I want you to open to that wisdom. And no matter what it says, I want you to begin to coalesce your thoughts and your feelings and your motivations and your activities around the divine wisdom that the Kundalini will bring. Be comfortable, practice the safeties. To you, ma'am. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. Since Tibetan 2, the second Tibetan, is involved with lying on the ground, can I do it standing instead?
No. Over.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Thank you. Okay. Next question then. Does Kundalini awakening have a place in Zen? I can read it a bit more, but that's the question.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. It does indeed. I mean, Zen Buddhism, like other forms of Buddhism, they have a problem with the mind being distracted. They say, oh, you're not within your mindfulness, or you're not being mindful, or you just need to release and let it go, and don't let the monkey mind take over. And oh my gosh! And so as you're sitting there meditating, you've got your nice little Zen garden in front of you, and you're kind of overweight because all you do now is meditate in your Zen garden, and you kind of reach for that little fork, and you draw another 4 parallel lines in your Zen garden, and you look at the granules as they fall into the triangular depression in the sand, and you become at one with the triangular depression in the sand. And as you become one with the triangular depression in the sand and you're meditating, well, the Kundalini begins to awaken in the base of your spine, and it pushes you out of your mindfulness and out of your meditation, and you become more aware of everything, and you become more in love with everything. While awareness and love aren't really, respected within the Zen community, because it's more of a lack of mindfulness, and it's a giving away into emotional context, and it's taking you off your goal of centeredness and one point centeredness in the all that is all. And as it comes through your body and it gives you kriya as well, there's so much for that meditation. And now she's oh my God, she's making you lose weight, and she won't let you meditate because she sounds like hot knives going through the top of your head. And oh my God, you go to your Zen priest, what is happening to me? I can't meditate. My mindfulness is gone. My one pointedness is gone. I can't be the little depression in the sand anymore. What do I do? And it's like, oh,
Chrism, stop. Oh, poor Zen people. I hadn't realized.
Well, so there, it's basically, regardless of what belief system you're involved with, whether it's Zen Buddhism or Theravada Buddhism or Christianity or Muslim or Hindu or Zoroastrianism or Ahura Mazdaism or shamanism. Kundalini has a place in all of the belief systems because it's placed in the body of all human beings. It's dormant in the last three vertebrae of the tailbone in all human beings. The only difference between those human beings are karma and the choices that karma has brought to them. So it doesn't matter what belief system. All belief systems will be forced to recognize the Kundalini presence within them. And the Buddhists do, some people say they call it tumo or dumo, D-U-M-O, or charisms. If you're an English-speaking Buddhist person, you might call them charisms, C-H-A-R-I-S-M-S, charisms, and these are things that you need to just allow to occur. Doesn't mean you need to buy into them, but you don't need to resist them either. And you need to overlook the expectations that your belief system may have that may be contraindicated to the Kundalini. The Kundalini may want you to get out there and move and lose some of that fat, but she also will allow you to be activated by becoming at one with the little furrow that you've made in your Zen garden. So she'll work both ends of the scenario. And one Buddhist guy came up to me one day, long time ago, and said, "Oh, Master Chrism, the lifetime is shortened when you burn the candle at both ends." And I said to him, well, burning the candle at both ends brings more light to all who are viewing. And, it may be true, but, we're not candles either. We're human beings. So the candle analogy may not be right. Just saying.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah. Thanks, Chrism. The next is a hypothetical question apparently asked on one of the groups. Can one stop the process or stop her from working after a spontaneous awakening?
No. You don't get to have that option. When divinity or when God places her hand upon your shoulder or his hand upon your shoulder and says, "This is your time to awaken my child," you don't get to push that hand off and say, "I'd rather go bowling." Or "I'd rather watch TV. Thanks anyway." Or "I'd rather have a pint." You don't get to do that. And so, no, you don't have that option. Kundalini is not something that you get to choose to have and then choose to stop. If it allows you to have it, either through your own practice or through its descending upon you and activating upon you, either way you go with that, once it's there, and it's not going away unless it chooses to lessen its effect upon your body. Over.
Thanks, Chrism. I'm asking a question, and then I'm going to go over to see does Carla have a question. I see a question mark there. The question is, I had a strong inner desire to buy yang essential oil and a diffuser for a long time, and I was attracted towards a natural one yesterday, which contains yang, rose, and patchouli. So I bought it promptly, as it was on special. Is aromatherapy okay with Kundalini? Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Aromatherapy is very good for Kundalini. She'll give you a compelling to surround yourself with certain kinds of scents or certain combinations of scents. And so some of the ones that come to me, when I was walking in Lourdes with Amelia and another student, and the lilac smell came out of nowhere, absolutely no lilacs in view, but the lilac smell came in the scent, and it was just, and all three of us recognized it, and all three of us just happened to have Kundalini as well. You remember that, Santara?
Ooh, I just came back, Chrism. Do I remember what?
Whether there was a McDonald's in Dublin that's open at this time?
Tell me, do I remember what? Something to do with aromatherapy, obviously.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was about the lilac scent that we experienced in Lourdes.
In Lourdes? Yeah. Oh my goodness, yes. I do, of course, remember that.
Kundalini will give you aromatherapy as well. I mean, one of the ones that really reaches out to me are the high desert sage smells. The scents from the high desert sage, like 7,000-foot deserts in the east of California, on the east side of the Sierra Mountain Range. There are these 7,000-foot high deserts. And in these high deserts, there's this sage that grows there, and it fills the air with its scent. It is so beautiful, so good. Excuse me. And that's one that I actually took some of that sage and carried it back with me. And every now and again, I pinch it and just inhale the scent of that high desert. So yeah, aromatherapy is perfectly all right within Kundalini.
Okay, thanks, Chrism. I love the sap from pine trees. That
I love that too.
Just divine. Yeah.
I love the sap from the Jeffries pine tree. If you can ever find it, that's up by Yosemite.
Carla has another question for you, Chrism. So I'll bring her on now.
Put Her Holiness on. Hi,
there
Carla.
She goes. Hi, Carla.
Hi. I was just curious on how the shake baths work.
The shake baths.
They come through energy?
Basically, well, no, you just have to walk along any path and just start shaking. And as you're shaking, the path becomes clear to you.
The Shakti pot. I know I said it wrong again, didn't I?
Damn. I was having a good time with that. Okay. You just got to shake on that path. No, the Shakti pot, how does it work?
Yeah.
The way it works through me is it's a very mathematically oriented thing. When I do, the traditional Shakti pot, like I do at every solstice and every equinox, 11 days, or actually the first 11 days of, like, say, this one that's coming up, the summer solstice, by June 11th, everybody who's going to take that Shakti pot needs to be signed up and needs to follow all the directions that there are for the Shakti pot to be given. So you need to have a picture. You need to make a declaration. You need to give of your material wealth. You need to be in a strong practice of the Kundalini awakening safeties at least twice a day. And then as that comes along, as the 11th comes along, a cellular consciousness from my Kundalini is scattered over your left shoulder at about 5 feet over your left shoulder, and it connects into your energetic anatomy. And then when the 21st moves on, which is the solstice day, when the 21st comes into being, that scatter field begins to emit a frequency of Kundalini into your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chakra. This is accompanied by me also formulating a wavelength or frequency of Kundalini generative energy into your energetic anatomy. And as that occurs, the Kundalini within you begins to blossom or begins to actuate of its own accord. And then at the end of the Shaktipat, which is the 27th, the scatter field does, the only thing the scatter field does on the 27th on the crown chakra is to allow its own self and just the divine to come into the top part of that person's energetic anatomy. And then the person waits for another 9 days after that. And then after the 9th day, the Shaktipat is concluded, and you have been Shaktipat. There are various safety reasons for that. There's certainly mathematical reasons for that. Everybody must be ready by the 11th, but the actual scattering of the scatter fields happens on the 12th. So that's basically kind of a thumbnail how that all works.
Yeah, I was just worried that I might not do the practice right or something, and something might happen, like I might not do it right and it won't come. That's how I was a little bit afraid.
Well, no, I think you'll be fine, Carla. Did you sign up?
Yeah, I signed up, and I was the one who had the the spinal sweep.
Are you the one from Canada?
Yeah.
So your name's not really Kala, is it?
It's Kayla. Kayla.
Okay. I remember you, Kayla. Yeah, you'll be fine. You just keep practicing those safeties, my dear.
Okay.
And
sounds great.
If you do it wrong, your entire leg might disappear.
Who knows? Probably with me.
Just kidding. The fact that your foot disappeared is a very strong indication that you're walking the right path and you're doing the right thing. So you keep going, girl.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, and any other questions, Miss Amelia?
Well, in the chat room there, Chrism, Cole is saying, on the topic of Zen, if you go up 4 lines, he's asking,
were we going back to Zen?
Yeah, do cones have any relation to...
Cones.
Cones.
On topic of Zen, do cones have any relation to Kundalini? Maybe to mantras. Cones. God, I could go so far on that joke. But I won't. I'll just relax on that. A cone is it's a paradoxical anecdote or riddle used in Zen Buddhism to demonstrate the inadequacy of logical reasoning and to provoke enlightenment. And I'm not sure I'm buying that, but it forces the person's mind to go out of its normal logical linear functioning. So does the Kundalini. The Kundalini does that with phenomena, where the cone does it with verbal teasers in a way. And Cole says the answers to some of them seem to be Kundalini teachings. Well, exactly. And so, of course, as I mentioned before, there will be a Kundalini connection to Zen Buddhism for sure. And you can also read the Tao Te Ching or the I Ching, and you'll see if you read the I Ching from cover to cover, every single one of those wisdoms would have a Kundalini connection as well. And if you read the tarot definitions, for each of the cards, like say the major arcana cards or whatever, you'll see Kundalini teachings in those as well. And then that reminds me, I want to mention something. I was watching TV, as I mentioned earlier the other day, and it's the first time this year. So I was watching the TV, and I was watching this scary program like Paranormal Ghost Children. They really stir up the drama for that. They really banking on the fear. And one of the things they said was that, if you use the tarot deck to try to figure out what's happening in your house, well then, you can open doorways into which the demonic can flood into your house and possess you in ways that would never before been occurring. And so they're basically equating the tarot deck with a a negative divinatory tool, and it's just not that at all. The tarot deck is as healthy and as innocent as it can be, depending on the kind you get. If you get Aleister Crowley's, well, you're gonna have a problem with that. If you're not looking for negativity, but it's not like a Ouija board at all. I mean, I've read tarot for I cannot tell you how many years now. I can throw down a tarot reading immediately. Now they're amazingly accurate. They're so accurate, ladies and gentlemen, that I have to keep the truth away from people because I know they're not ready to handle it. Tarot can be very, very, very accurate. You just have to be able to divine it. It's a divinatory tool, divining. You have to ask the divine nature within yourself what that particular spread of cards means. It's not an evil tool at all. No more so than a screwdriver is. You can stab somebody in the head with a screwdriver, but you can also unscrew it. A screw in the wall. It's like, how do you use it? When I was working in a medical clinic when I had some visitations happening to me in the Snowball Mansion in Knights Landing, California. And if you Google Snowball Mansion, Knights Landing, that's KNIGHTS space LANDING, space California. You'll see what it is. It's a beautiful Italian ornate mansion in Northern California. And I lived there in 1986, 1985, and I had fairly strong ghost apparitions coming to visit all the time. And I wrote about some of it there, and it's still on the web back when I was 25, 26 years old. And so you can look at that and you can kind of see what's been written there. And, when I had that happen to me, I had no clue what was going on with that. And I was working at a medical clinic, and I happened to mention it to my supervisor. He just kind of chuckled. And the very next day, I knew, we were doing the Christmas gifts, and he gave me a pack of tarot cards. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? I'd never had tarot cards in my life. And I looked at the tarot. I still have the deck, as a matter of fact. I have it right now in the Dolphin trailer where I was going to broadcast this show from. And, that really helped me through the difficult areas of the Kundalini. That helped me to understand that, people have died in that house and they hadn't really moved on yet. It would help me to understand that there were 3 bodies buried in the basement below the basement, which was the root cellar. And it helped me to understand that this parallel world is still upon you, even though, you tried to shut it down from the age of 13 to 23. It's still there. The entities are still visiting, and these are just another quality or type of entities that are visiting you now. And do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. And it was very helpful. And I didn't open any doors to demons or anything like that. Nobody, that's just Hollywood hyperbole. Is all that is. And you don't want to believe it. You don't want to get yourself sucked into that fear mongering. Let's keep them on the line. Because their endorphins are cruising through them now because that little kid was actually a ghost and whatnot. I thought it was very good. I thought the tarot deck was very helpful. So just to say a little bit about that and TV. TV really wants to push levels of fear. You've got to really follow the money with TV. They want you to watch those commercials. They want you to be programmed by those commercials, those things that they're selling. And it's so obvious. I mean, they'll get you right to the pinnacle of the point. It's like, and then the ghost said to me, cut to commercial, and it's like, McDonald's in Dublin, we're open 24/7. Have a pint, come and have a bite to eat. It's like,
Yeah.
And so it's so obvious, but people get caught up into that, and I don't want Kunalini people to get caught up in that. It's very important that you see through that. And this goes back to the virtual reality mind programming. So, with the television, it's, they know you're in an alpha state. So they know that they can do a direct feed into your brain by virtue of commercials that they would never be able to do if they were just talking to you face to face. Anyway, the tarot decks are fine. Yeah, get the Rider-Waite deck or the one that I have, which I forget. It's a nice. A lot of them have very cool artwork.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
So, Chrism, seeing as you mentioned the Ouija board,
don't do
that's
Ouija
not
board.
a divinatory tool, is it?
Well, it is, but it's more geared toward inviting negativity into your space. You don't need to do a Ouija board. Too many people do not have control over how they think. If you did a Ouija board and you went into it with a very enlightened mind and very positive state, you could bypass the programming within the Ouija board. There's an actual programming within the Ouija board that pushes you into the more challenging areas. And you can, invite that type of stuff there. And so with Kundalini people, until you learn how to control what you think and how you think, kind of like what's happening to you right now, Amelia, you don't want to toy around with a Ouija board.
Okay, thank you.
Give us an entity update. What's your entity update?
Chris, I feel like the entity update is the entity is still coming and going, tormenting. I'm getting a lot of visuals, and I am having some disturbing dreams that are entity provided, without a doubt. What I'm finding is through things that you said to me there during the week, is not to feed it with my response by specific responses. I'm recognizing a little bit. I think I feel myself, responding in a particular way, and then I'm stopping myself because I think that's what it wants. So I'm trying to be neutral and not affected. I'm praying a lot, and not praying for deliverance or anything like that, but praying. I'm being grateful because I know what's happening is for my good, Yeah. And I'm becoming aware.
Cole Kundalini, I want you to pay attention to what she's saying. For you, Cole. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm becoming. I'm glimpsing that more than I would have done. So that's what's going on at the moment.
So let me just reiterate for some folks, a Kundalini, a strong Kundalini entity of a negative quality has entered into Amelia's energetic anatomy and is really tormenting her strongly. She is suffering, and it's giving to her the full Monty of torment. And what she has come to learn is that the torment is there just as a provocative tool for her to address that level of torment or programming in the opposite way, using the crucible of reversal and becoming grateful for the opportunity to practice the safeties in a real-time format all the time, changing the way she thinks, changing her automatic responses of an emotional nature or mental nature, or changing her judgmentalism, and changing all of these very, very crucial areas within the human psychology. She's being given an invitation to change these things by virtue of having this horrible, terrible, negative entity possessing her. Am I right, Amelia?
Yes, Chrism. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, we can all sit here and laugh, but it's harder.
I know. No, it's not funny.
It is good to be amused. It is good to be amused. Amusement is a good thing. But for those of you that have an entity interaction, you may want to pay attention to what she's doing, because almost virtually across the board. If you have entities, they're going to try to program you to do something negative with your Kundalini. And if you can do the crucible of reversal, you're way ahead of the game. And to be grateful for the Kundalini allowing this entity perversion to come into your space as a teaching grace.
That has been a real gift to me, Chrism. That understanding, that insight has been, it has made a big difference.
Yeah. Well, it's also a truth.
Yeah, it is. I have another question, and it's
no. Is it short? We're down to 2:20.
Yes, you could say yes or no. Actually, basically,
okay, go ahead.
Okay, is it okay to donate blood while Kundalini is active? Is there any risk or complete for the person that's receiving or the donor?
There's not. I mean, it's best if you don't. You need your blood at this time. Okay. Let the Kundalini get a hold of you very strongly, and then if it wants you to donate blood, then it will modulate that blood donation in a way that will allow for a greater healing, rather than spreading Kundalini to a person that might not be ready. Okay. Any last words, my dear?
No, Chrism, thank you very much. See you all next week.
Everybody, I apologize once again for the difficulty in in getting here, but I'm very, very happy that we were able to do this, and I'm gonna try to get the music going right here. Here we go. Let's see. And I will move it all the way over to here. And everybody, many blessings. Here we go. Or not. Oh, here we go.